بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. In continuation of قاعدة الطهارة, the maxim of purity, this maxim applies to two types of shubha, suspicion or doubt. We have a shubha al-hukmiyya and a shubha al-mawdu'iyya. One of them is the legal suspicion. The second is the objective suspicion. Okay? Legal and objective suspicion. What is the difference between them? What is the difference between the legal and the objective?
What did it say, like suspicion?
Shubha. Doubt.
Okay.
Didn't we see when we come across something, we have doubt about it, we rule that it is pure. So shubha means whenever I come to something, I don't know, is this clean, tahir or najis? I have shubha. If I know it is najis, then it is not shubha anymore. I know, ilm, there is ilm. So shubha is the opposite of ilm. Ilm is certainty and shubha is doubt. Okay? We have two types of doubts. One of them applies to the legal ones. It's called the legal, hukmiyya. Shubha, hukmiyya. This is mawdu'iyya. What is the difference between them, hukmiyya and mawdu'iyya? What do you think the difference would be between hukmi and mawdu'i?
Mawdu'i is usually more of it takes like more of like the story. You say the mawdu' of the story.
Circumstantial. Circumstantial. As opposed to hukmiyya, there's a ruling for it.
Yes, hukmiyya is a ruling. But let's begin with mawdu'i. Assalamu alaikum. Let's begin with the mawdu'i. The difference, Dr. Ali, we have something called shubha, it's the doubt. When we have something doubtful, we are doubtful about it. We don't know whether it is clean or unclean. This could be in two forms. Form number one is called a shubha al-hukmiyya. Shubha hukmiyya. Second, shubha mawdu'iyya. What is the difference between hukmiyya and mawdu'iyya? Hukmiyya is legal suspicion or legal doubt. This is objective doubt. Objective means what? Related to what? To the object itself. Such as what? Such as I come across a bottle. I don't know whether the bottle, this is a wine or apple cider. Because the bottle looks suspicious. The color looks suspicious. Okay? Probably the smell, I don't know whether they smell the same or not. So I don't know, is this now wine? Or this is apple cider, I can drink it. This is shubha what? Mawdu'iyya, because the mawdu', the subject is suspicious to me, not the ruling. Or let's say there is a drop on your thigh, on your dress while you were in the restroom. You don't know whether this, when you flush the toilet, this is the water or the urine. It hits your thigh or your leg or your hand. You don't know. Sometimes you know. Sometimes you can realize. You can distinguish. But sometimes you really cannot distinguish. You don't know. So you start having shubha, doubt. Whether this is bowl, urine, or this is water. Or someone pours something. It happens in, mashallah, Muslim countries. While you are walking in the market, brrr, something on you. Is this a guy who was urinating, or this is, no, water. So this is mawdu' because the suspicion is about the subject itself. Or you look at the moon. Is this the moon or Jupiter? Sometimes people see Jupiter, they think this is the new moon. So the doubt is about the object itself. Okay? This is shubha mawdu'iyya. What is the shubha al-hukmiyya? Shubha al-hukmiyya, I come to a doubt. There is a pond of water here. We studied in the fiqh 2 years ago, or last year, Bab al-Taharat, purification, that if something reaches the level of kur, what was the kur? Do you remember? Kur has 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions. So 3 shibr. This is shibr. This is shibr. Okay? So if it is 3 shibr in width, depth, and what else? Width, depth, and height. If it this size, then even if blood, urine, dead animal falls there, then it is halal. It is pure, tahir. Okay? Sometimes you come to a small swimming pool, which is kur, has reached that state of being kur. Al-kur la yatanajjas. Even if a mouse falls there and dies, you can get it out and the water is, but if it is less than kur, a mouse, dead mouse, falls there and dies, then it becomes najis. Now I don't know whether I come across a situation, is this, najis or not? This water became najis or not? Tahir or najis? This is hukmiyya. But the first one was mawdu'iyya. The first one, I don't know what the subject, I don't know the material, whether it is wine or apple cider. The material is unknown to me. The material is unknown to me. Or whether this drop was a water or a urine drop. The material was unknown to me. This is shubha mawdu'iyya, related to the subject itself. Are you with me, Dr. Ali? But the second one, it's legal. Legal, whether this water became najis or is still tahir. So in both these cases, whether my doubt is legal or objective, what do we say? This maxim applies to it. Qa'idatul tahara.
So say, I'm still a little confused. So the second one I got, the objective is related to the material or the object. So I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
The first one I'm still a little unclear. Because we asked, what happens to the water? Isn't that still an object?
The water, you have a quantity of water.
Right.
Okay? And you come today and you find a mouse dead there. You get it out. Now, should you do wudu? Because people used to do wudu from the pond. Forget, running water. So should I treat this as tahir or najis?
Is the doubt about whether we don't know if it's a kur or not?
No, if we don't know whether it's a kur or not, this is mawdu'i. This is objective, related to the water, whether the water has reached that level or not. This is mawdu'i. Whether the water is kur or non-kur. This is mawdu'i, this is this one. We are speaking about the second. I come across a situation, okay, and forget about water, I come to this room and this is a desk, okay, I see liquid on the desk. I see a liquid on the desk. Should I treat this as tahir or najis? This is hukmi, hukum. Is the hukum here, this is tahir or this is najis? This is tahir. So the maxim of a purity applies to both. To the suspicion or the doubt, which is hukmi, whether this is tahir or najis, I say tahir, okay, unless I know. And to the mawdu'i, the subject of it. When a subject is doubtful to me, I come to this liquid, is this halal or haram? Liquid, you know. Is this liquid halal or haram? I say, if I know it is haram, then it is haram. But if I don't know, I have doubt. I have doubt about it.
So the question isn't that if whatever is spilled on the desk, we're not questioning if that's tahir. If that was, then it would be mawdu'i. But we're just asking in general, how do I treat the desk?
Exactly. How do I treat the desk? You treat the desk as the desk. When you see the desk is wet, your dress is wet, you treat them as being tahir. Okay? Now, the hadith, let me read this hadith to you and then ask you whether this is hukmi or mawdu'i. The hadith في خبر حفص بن غياث عن جعفر عليه السلام عن أبيه الإمام الباقر عن علي means علي بن الحسين زين العابدين ما أبالي أبول أصابني أو ما إذا لم أعلم. This is one hadith, Dr. Ali.
Yes,
That when I see something spells on my dress, on my thigh, on my arm, on my hand, something spells there. I'm in the bathroom. If I know what is this, if I know this is water, then it is solved. Well, I have no problem. If I know this is urine, but if I don't know, or it spells on the floor, a drop, boom, falls on the floor, and I really don't know. In that case, how do you treat this? طاهر. Okay? The second case, وفي موثقة عمار في من رأى في إنائه فار وقد توضأ منه مرارا أو اغتسل أو غسل ثيابه. In the old days, water was scarce. People would bring a small tank, put it in the house, in the corner of the house. This used to be, ask your grandfathers, they would tell you about it. There was no running water. So and they will drink from it, they would wash, they would do wudu, everything from that. That was the only water available. And he says he comes and he finds a dead mouse. And he has done wudu, he has washed his clothing, he cooked food. So how should he treat that? The Imam tells him, ثم فعل ذلك بعدما رآها في الإناء. If he has seen the mouse and then he did wudu and he washed, then definitely this is what? Najis, because he saw the mouse. He saw it, it's dead. So it became najis. Okay? In that case, it is najis. And if he had done his prayers, he has to repeat all these prayers. Because that water was najis. And the tahara, you have to purify yourself before the prayers. And that purification was not right. That purification was invalid. So you have to repeat your وَيُعِيدُ الْوُضُوءَ وَالصَّلَاةِ. You repeat your wudu and your salat again. But وَإِنْ كَانَ إِنَّمَا رَآهَا بَعْدَمَا فَرِغَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. After he came to the water, there was okay, nothing in it. And then he did his wudu, and then he went back and he came and there was a mouse. In this case, how should he treat it? Tahir. Because before he didn't see it, he did not see it before when he was doing the wudu. He saw it after. Had he seen it before, then definitely that is najis water. But if he has not seen it, maybe it is there, but he didn't see it.
Or it came after.
The Imam says it could came after. لأنه لا يعلم متى سقط فيه. He doesn't know really exactly when this mouse fell into this water. لعله أن يكون إنما سقطت فيه تلك الساعة. Imam says it could be when he saw it, then after he did his wudu, the mouse fell. Okay? So in that case, he treats it as it is what? It is طاهر. Another hadith we have. الماء كله طاهر حتى يعلم أنه قذر. Always treat water, always. This is a general ruling. This is the norm. You treat the water always, whether in the desert, at your home, in the hotel, in a village, in the airplane. Sometimes we go and wash in the airplane. I do my wudu in the airplane. So I treat the water every time, always, as what? Tahir, unless I have certainty that this water is contaminated. This is the general ruling about the water. Now, we come to a second thing here.
So say all these examples are then shubha hukmiyya, right?
Yes. So the example of the water is what? The example of the water we gave. What was the first example? The urine. He saw a drop of liquid. What is it?
The object.
موضوعية, exactly. Because it could be water, it could be urine. He doesn't know. It could be water, it could be urine. He felt. Sometimes you don't feel. We feel this. I went one time to a European country. I don't mention it because it's recording here. And I stayed in an apartment 2 weeks for Muharram. In an apartment. Brand new apartment. But only 50 meters, believe me. Only 50 meters, square meters. They made an apartment out of only 50 square meters. The guy who would come from work at 5, 6 p.m., every single day he brings a hose and he washes the floor of the bathroom. I tell him, why do you do this? He says, say it because there is a water when you flush. Definitely there will be. I tell him, do you see it? He says, no, but I'm sure it happens. I tell him, but religiously, maybe for hygiene reason it's okay. But then you're going to damage your apartment, by the way, if you wash it every day. But you don't have to. He says, no, since we have a flashing water, once you flash, boom, some of that is going to jump out, okay? And then does it, najasa. So let's assume that this happened and you saw the drop. If you know the drop, if you know the nature of the drop, then you treat it accordingly. If it is bowl, you have to clean it. If it is water, then it's okay. But if you don't know, this is mawdu'iyya, because you don't know the mawdu'. You don't know the nature of the drop. This is mawdu'. The second hadith, what was the second hadith? About what? The mouse in the water. I don't know when. I know this is a water, this is mouse. Okay? Mouse is najis, definitely. But when did it happen? I don't know. Before, after, I don't know. In this case, this is hukmiyya. So I treat it as what? Tahir, exactly. Now, there are two places, two occasions where This maxim, Dr. Ali, of a purity is overridden by other maxims. They override this one. This has less influence over them. They govern over this one. What are the places? So this one becomes overruled. The maxim of purity becomes overruled. Overruled by two maxims. Which one? First one is when I know I leave my room, my hotel room, and I know this dress, this chair, this table was najis. I know. And then I go out. I come back next weekend. I open the door, okay, and I am the only inhabitants in this room. I have no cleaner, no cleaning lady, no, mother who cleans after me. And then I come back and I look at it. In this case, how should I treat it? Huh? Why? Based on what? Exactly. We have the ruling of istishab, we studied that. Istishab is you have to continue with the previous status. Unless you know someone came and cleaned it. If not, then you keep with the previous status. So istishab overrules over this. Here you cannot say, well, I can go with qa'idatul tahara. Qa'idatul tahara says, no, but here you know from before. So this is number one. Qa'idatul istishab. Always istishab overrules this maxim. Always. And I gave one example. What is the second example? Second example, my friends, where tahara does not apply anymore and it is overridden and overruled here, it is incapacitated here, is where? Where do you think it is? When you come to an animal being slaughtered and you don't know who slaughtered it and how he or she slaughtered it. Here, you cannot say this is tahir because I assume, because I don't know. If I know, I know. If I know someone Muslim did it according to the Islamic, tradition, then I know it's halal. If I know someone did it un-Islamically, then it is najis or not halal. But if I don't know here, should I also apply this maxim to or not? The fuqaha, they say no. Because qa'idat adam al-tathkiyah overrides qa'idat al-tahara. Qa'idat, maxim of qa'idat adamul tathkiyah. The maxim of what? Non-zabiha. Tathkiyah means zabiha. Non-zabiha. Overrides the maxim of purity. These are some exceptions. Otherwise, other than these two examples that I gave, always we use this maxim. This is the norm, but this norm has two exceptions. One, istishab. Wazir, you know what's istishab?
Yes, just explain.
Yeah, istishab, exactly. Principle, they call it in usul, we studied that. The principle of continuity. Meaning, let's say there was a man who has wife and children. Now, I saw him, and let's say he said to me, listen, I leave the keys of my properties, my house, my car, my cash money with you. So I left town. I came 10 years later. Should I, and I didn't find him. I didn't find him to give these things back to him. Should I assume now he's dead and then I give these to his heirs? Or I should not assume he's dead. I should assume he's alive and I have to search for him for some time, maybe 1 year, 2 years. In some case, some fuqaha, they say 6 years. You have to wait. You should not assume he's dead. We say no, you should assume he's alive. Because the last time you saw him, he was alive. Unless you have confirmed the news that he's dead, confirmed, not suspicion, not check, not doubt, certainly that he's dead, then you act accordingly. If not, then you assume he's still alive. Okay? This is with people. We come with objects. Okay? I saw this iPhone in your hand last time. Last time I saw the iPhone, it was in your hand. Then I come following day, Nadeem says, this is my iPhone, and I am the judge here. No one can bring a witness, neither him nor you. What should I say? I should say no, this is Wazir's iPhone. Because last time I should use the istishab, the principle of istishab. Because yesterday it was in your hand, then it means it is yours. Unless he has an evidence, okay, to prove otherwise. This is istishab. I left my jacket, my shirt, najis. I left it. 6 months later I came. Should I assume that it is tahir now? No. Unless I ask someone to clean it for me. If I didn't and I found it in the same place and I don't know who touched it, who didn't, then in that case I have to treat that dress as being what? Najis. I go back to the previous. This is the principle of continuation. These two principles, principle of continuation and the maxim or the principle of non-zabiha, they overrule the maxim of purity. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Usually we face that quite often. Let's say there is an Indian restaurant. We don't know the owner is Muslim or non-Muslim. And it says my food is halal. All the meat is halal.
I'll come to this with the next maxim. Give me just 10 minutes. I'll clean this. I'll put a maxim, suqul muslimin, right now, in 10 minutes. Just give me, we will discuss this. But let me just finish with this, the third one. Now, my friends, I come to this, let's suppose this is a cup, okay? There is sharbat, liquid, whatever in this, orange juice. And I know there was najasa inside the cup. Let's say I saw the blood. And then I also, one time I saw it, it was clean. But then I forgot whether the najasa was after or before. I forgot. I tried to remember. Ya Ilahi, is this najasa? The last time I saw it, the very last time, was it when it was najis or when it was clean? I don't know. Which one first, which one second? What ruling should we use here? What principle should we use here? Why? When you say, you have to say the reason. Why not istishab?
Your assumption is
You can't use this to stop.
Why?
You don't know what you don't have an end. You don't have and you have doubt.
You didn't have certainty in the past.
Yeah.
No, I have ilm.
You know which one's first.
I have ilm, exactly, but I don't know. I had ilm. I had certainty. I saw the najasa and I saw the tahara. But I don't know which one is last, because the last is important, not the first. I don't know which one is last, so I can give my judgment. Okay? I don't know the last one was the tahara or the najasa. I don't know. So if these are two types of istishab, they would clash with each other. The istishab of purity and the istishab of najasa. They clash with each other because I don't know which one is first, which one is last. So in this case, we use
Purity.
maxim of purity. Because here we consider, in this case, you consider yourself, you are seeing this glass for the very first time. You neglect your previous observations. You neglect it. Because they clash with each other, since you don't know which one first, which one second. So when you observe this for the very first time, and you know nothing about it, you have doubt about it, how should you rule here? Tahir. So here you use the
Bara'a, I mean, you're using bara'a, right? In your,
Tahara overrides Bara'a. Tahara is stronger than Bara'a. Stronger, the principle of Tahara. Then the last example, before we go to the second maxim. The dishes, you go to a restaurant, this restaurant is non-Islamic restaurant. Before the meat, let's speak about the dishes. Now, how do we treat the dish? My friends.
I mean, yeah.
Many Indo-Pakistani people ask me this question. Now, people of book, they say they are tahir, Christians, Jews. But people of non-book or people who do not have scriptures, like Hindus, they don't have scriptures. Hindus, India is full of Hindus, and they have friends, you know, their kids, they go to school together, they dine together, they live together, they come and ask me, Sayyid, they give us food, not meat, vegetarian, samosa, vegetarian samosa. Should we eat or not? What is the ruling?
yes.
Why?
Why it's okay?
Mhm.
Well, because that food is halal. I mean, if it's not a debate of everything else is halal. The only question is the meat. The meat.
No,
is
Dr. Omid. This is not the question, Habib. It's not the question whether this is meat or veggie. Of course, veggie is halal. But we are speaking about tahara and najasa. Tahara and najasa. Not meat halal or not halal. Tahara and najasa. They touch it with their hands. When they cook the food, when they prepare the food, when they wrap the sandwich, they touch it with their palm without gloves. Okay? You go to Subway, let's say Subway, someone who says, I don't believe in God, and he brought you a sandwich. You didn't see inside what's happening. How should you treat this sandwich? You didn't see. Well, if you see, then
I mean, if you see the najasa,
if you see his hand is wet,
yeah, right.
his hand, bare hand, wet, touches the food, the sandwich, then you can't eat it. But if you don't see, it's in the background, it's there, in the kitchen.
You would never eat anything if that was the case.
So how do you treat the dish? How do you treat the plate? They put a plate in front of you. You go to Indian restaurant, they are not Muslims. Indian food, to eat Indian food. They put the plate, they put the spoon, they put the fork, they put the knife, they put the... How do you treat that?
If you know the person is, let's say, Buddhist, you can't eat it. You don't know the person, even if you doubt he's a Buddhist, it's okay, you can eat it.
But you don't have any ilm that he touched his hand on it. Otherwise
Exactly.
You live your life, you constantly...
Exactly. If you don't have ilm, and ilm it could be you see yourself, or someone, your wife tells you, your son tells you. Okay? This is ilm. If you don't know, then you treat that as being tahir. Not just the dishes. You go to the hotel. You go to a hotel. It's owned by communist people, you know. Not just Buddhists, communist people. And they put the sheet, they put the pillow, the whatever. How do you treat that? You treat that as tahir unless you have ilm. Okay, Habibi? This is the ruling. Exactly. Okay, so let's go. And even the dress. The dress, some people ask, I take my dress to the dry cleaner here. What shall I do? Of course, my friends, I, as an imam, I treat myself different because I am an imam. I lead the prayers. I am responsible for people who pray behind me. But had I been normal person, I will take my dress to the dry clean here. But because I'm extra careful, I have to be extra careful because I bear a bigger responsibility. So can you take your dress to the dry clean? You don't.
After I found out how they do it, I don't.
See, then you have ilm.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, in case you have ilm, you have ilm. But if you don't have ilm, then yes, you can take it. There is nothing on you. Now let's go to the next maxim, which is Suqul Muslimin, Islamic market. What is Islamic market, my friends? What is the Islamic market? Islamic market maxim. What does it mean? Islamic market means number one and number two. Number one, it means it is in a country where the majority of people are Muslims. Majority. Let's say if you go to Singapore. Now, of course, our country is 99% are Muslims. But let's go to Singapore. Singapore, they say, I don't know about this figure, but they say 51% are Muslims, 49 are non-Muslims. So this is majority. This is considered Islamic market. The majority of the people are Muslims. And you go to a restaurant, you go to a shop. In that shop, they sell leathers. Okay, fur, leather belt, leather shoes, leather jackets, leather stripes, whatever. And you don't know. This is Islamic market here. And this person who's selling you is a Muslim or a non-Muslim. Even a non-Muslim. The seller is non-Muslim, but he's in an Islamic market where the majority people are Muslims, majority. How do you treat this food? How do you treat it?
Halal.
If you don't know.
Halal.
Yeah,
In an Islamic country, you don't have to ask. You are not required to ask. You treat everything as tahir and everything as halal. Okay? Everything as tahir and everything as halal. Now, if you come to America, to Anaheim, Dearborn, Michigan, where it's a non-Islamic countries, a non-Islamic country, but the market, the majority market, the majority are Muslims. In that neighborhood, in that street, let's say Brookhurst, or let's say Warren Avenue in Dearborn, Michigan. 80% of the shops, 70%, 60% of the restaurants and shops are Muslims, alhamdulillah, very good Muslims. Very honest and,
Where is this? I would love to go.
huh?
Where is this? I
In
love-
paradise, inshallah. So how do you treat this? Is this also considered Islamic market? Because it's not a non-Islamic country. America, Europe. It's America, it's a France, it's a Britain, Germany. Okay? You go to these Muslim ghettos. I've been to Germany, in Berlin, there is a little Istanbul. Most of the people are Turkish, majority. So how do you treat restaurants there? Should you also investigate, or since it is Islamic ghetto, Islamic neighborhood, then you go and eat?
You have to confirm that it is.
What do you think?
I
This is
usually-
a
I usually-
critical thinking, huh? I want you to,
I usually ask.
yeah. Okay, how about you?
I think if it's an area that's.
You have a restaurant, so you are going to be biased.
Answer this correctly.
I think if a dominant area, even within a big country, if that area is predominant, then I think you don't have to ask, I'll say.
What do you think?
You ask. You have to confirm.
Here we have two types of jurists. Ayatollah Khoi says, Ayatollah Khoi, he says, if the number here, he's concerned with number. If the number of the shops in terms of number, quantity, are mostly Muslims, then this is also called Suqul Muslimin. In terms of number. Let's say you go to this ghetto, 70%, 60% are Muslims. Then you don't have to ask. You treat that like a Muslim country. Though it is a non-Islamic country, but this ghetto, this area, predominantly Muslims. So you don't have to ask. There is another theory versus this one by Ayatollah Sadr and others, not just him. He says it's not about the number, it's about who owns the market, not the number of the people or the number of the shops. It could be someone owns 50 shops. So it's about the influence and who owns. If that main owner of these 30, 40, 50 shops is a Muslim, then you treat that as Suq al-Muslimi. But if no, that guy, he owns, yes, there are 60 shops that are Muslims, but they are owned by non-Muslim. The workers there are Muslims, but the owner is not. Then that is not considered Suq al-Muslimin. But this is in a non-Islamic country. Now, if this owner is a non-Muslim, but he's in an Islamic country, how do you treat that? Halal. He's non-Muslim. He dominates this business, the meat business, the chicken business, the whatever business. He's not a Muslim, but he lives in an Islamic country. The majority of the country are Muslims, then that one is halal. This is the difference. So alhamdulillah, Ali, you are not disappointed.
But he's a good Muslim and he's
Yeah.
in Islamic area, so he's good.
He's the owner.
Influencing halal.
Yeah. So, this is the ruling. Now,
So say, going back to what...
let me just read a couple of hadith. Remember your question, don't forget it. Remember it? Let me just read. Now, what are the evidence? Because in this class, we have to study the evidence, not just the ruling. We need to find it is based on what? This is the purpose of this class. Okay? The evidence for Suq al-Muslimin, number one, is There are several hadith. One of them is Sahihah. The riwayah is Sahihah, is authentic. Sahihat Ishaq ibn Ammar. Sahihat Ishaq ibn Ammar. Ishaq ibn Ammar. عن العبد الصالح. Who is the righteous? This is a nickname of one of the Imams in the fiqhi context. When they say Al-Abdul Salih, it's a reference to what Imam? Seventh. Seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wassalam. The father of Imam al-Rida. Imam Musa al-Kadhim is nicknamed Al-Abdul Salih. And it is customary in fiqh that they don't sometimes mention the first and the second name of the Imam. They mention his nickname. His nickname. So he's Al-Abdul Salih. Al-Abdul Salih, it means Al-Imam Al-Kadhim. Al-Abdul Salih. He says in that Sahihah, I'll translate. I'll read it in Arabic and I'll translate. أنه قال لا بأس في الصلاة في الفراء اليماني وفيما صنع في أرض الإسلام. قلت فإن كان فيها غير أهل الإسلام قال إذا كان الغالب عليها المسلمين فلا بأس. It is okay to wear the Yamani fur or leather. This is apparently a very luxurious type of fur that they used to sell it hundreds of years ago. Very expensive. Yamani, called Yamani. I don't know whether it has to do with Yemen or I don't know. He said to him, should I wear it? Imam says to him, of course, in the land of Islam, Islamic country, yes, you have no problem. He says to him, but there are non-Muslims there too. The Imam tells him, if the majority are Muslims, then don't bother and don't, investigate, and you can wear it. When you pray, of course. You can wear it other times, but in the prayers. It's halal to wear the jacket which is made of meat. It's halal. But it is not halal to pray with it. Are you with me? Now, Sahihatul Halabi, the second Sahiha. This is Sahihat Ishaq ibn Ammar. We have second Sahiha, Sahihat al-Halabi. Halabi in Farsi has a meaning, in Arabic has another meaning. Khanahaya Halabi. In Farsi, Halabi, in Arabic it means from Halab, city of Aleppo. But in Farsi, those makeshift tents, the homeless they used to do. They call them Halabi Abad, because it's made of Chia'in, Halabi.
Like what the cans, what they.
The metal, this metal. Aluminum. No, not aluminum. Is this aluminum?
Very
No.
thin metal, any kind of thin metal. More
Yeah.
is halal.
Yeah. So this guy, Sahihatul, I don't know whether he was homeless, they called him Halabi, or he was from Aleppo. I don't know. He says, he asked Imam al-Sadiq عليه الصلاة والسلام, سألت أبا عبد الله عليه السلام عن الخفاف التي تباع في السوق. I asked him about the shoes that are sold in the market. فقال عليه السلام اشتري, buy them, وصلي فيها حتى تعلم أنه ميتة. Buy the shoes and you can pray with them. Okay? Not the shoes. There is khuf. Khuf is like the socks. But it is used in the old days as a shoe too. They would go out with it. Outdoor and indoor. It's called khuf. In the Sunni tradition, it is okay to wipe on the khuf. They have a chapter. It's not okay for them to wipe your feet, but if you are wearing khuf, which is a thick socks, which people wear it outside and inside, then you can wipe on it. I explain this in my book, Shia Islam. However, so Imam says to him, You buy it in the market unless you know for sure that this is meat. Unless you know for sure. But if you don't know, then you treat shoes that are sold in an Islamic market as what? As halal, and you don't have to ask, you don't have to investigate, as long as the market is Islamic. You don't have to ask the guy, the owner, where did you bring this, or you read. You don't have to do this. You don't have. Okay?
I'm sorry,
Number 3, yes.
For the first one, you said the guy asked if you can wear the fur, but the area, it's a Muslim country, but the area was non-Muslim.
There are non-Muslims living in that Muslim
So you
country.
could,
The Imam tells them it's okay.
to wear it? Or
Yeah.
And to pray in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. As long as the community. Now, Dr. Hamid, what was your question?
I think you answered it.
Okay. Number 3. Sahihat. 3 people narrated this Sahiha, the third one. 3 people. Sahihatu Zurara, one of them. Muhammad ibn Muslim and Fudail. Fudail is the second. Fudail and Muhammad ibn Muslim. Those are 3 top guys. Zurara, Fudail, Muhammad ibn Muslim. Top 3 narrators. They asked Imam al-Baqir, the 5th Imam, Abu Ja'far, عن شراء اللحوم من الأسواق ولا يدري ما صنع القصابون فقال كل إذا كان ذلك في سوق المسلمين ولا تسأل عنه. They say we go to the market, there are butchers, we do not know how they slaughter these animals. We don't know. Imam says eat, and you don't have to ask them how they slaughtered the animals. ولا تسأل. Since it is what? It is a Muslim country. Okay? You don't have to ask the butcher, investigate him. How do you did this? How do you do that? You can eat. Okay? Now this is number 1. What is first evidence? The first evidence are Sahiha 1, Sahiha 2, Sahiha 3. These are the first evidence. What is the second evidence, my friends? The second evidence is called Siratul Mutasharri'ah in Arabic. Sira means tradition. Mutasharri'ah means what? Observance. The religious people, the observance. The tradition of the observance. Those who observe religion, those who are religious, they used to do exactly the same. That when they go to the market, an Islamic market, they treat everything as tahir and halal. Every product, food or non-food, edible and non-edible, clothing, shoes, food, everything. This was their seerah during the time of the Imams and after the time of the Imams. And by the way, Siratul Mutasharri'ah is one of the masadir, the sources of legislation. Yes, we use this. We use Siratul Mutasharri'ah to support our case. We consider Siratul Mutasharri'ah, the tradition of the observance, as what? As a source of legislation. As a source of legislation. The rest, inshallah, for the next class. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين